Good evening, everybody. Tonight is May 27th, and I'm calling to order the Borough of Conshohocken Authority monthly meeting. Would you do roll call first today, Sean?
Of course. Aparna Chibber,
Here.
Christine Bertino, Jack Ambler,
Here.
George Bass,
Here.
Tina Sokolowski.
Here. Great. Would everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty. Are we in need of an executive session today for anything? Okay.
It's always on the agenda.
Yep, that's okay, just checking. And then, did we receive any public comment on email? And we have no one here in the audience today, other than our intern that is following and learning, but no public in the audience for public comment. So we'll move right through the agenda. No guest or presentations today. It'll be a pretty quick meeting, I think. So first off, then, we'll start with the approval of the minutes from April 22nd, 2025. Does anyone have any questions or concerns or edits for the minutes from April 22nd meeting? Hearing no questions, concerns, or edits, I'm looking for a motion to accept the April 22nd meeting minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is under our financial report section. In our financial reports, we got our reports for the accounts payable and revenues. Anyone have any questions related to either of those
To the financial report,
for the financial reports?
this is the time of year that we pay Conshohocken for the right to operate.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Is that, is that a permanent thing?
There is a memorandum of understanding that was signed with the borough, so it's as permanent as the memorandum of understanding and potential renegotiation in the future.
We rent this space from them for our meeting, for these meetings, we rent the office space from the borough as well as some server equipment, we rent space from the borough.
Right.
They like share manpower sometimes, right? And
So
That's really just doing
the borough provides services to the authority through the agreement that we have with them, yes. But that's a separate agreement.
That's the stormwater management agreement, right?
okay.
This is actually a lease agreement that we have for the physical space that we have in the building.
Okay.
So there's a couple different arrangements with the borough. Any other questions?
No, just be quiet.
Okay. Hearing no other questions, do I have a motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $328,616.25?
Make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
And I'll do roll call.
And because we're spending money, we have to roll call it.
That's correct. Aparna Chibber,
Yes.
Jack Ambler,
Yes.
George Bass,
Yes.
Tina Sokolowski.
Yes. Okay, there is also one other item under the financial reports. It looks like our Conshohocken Community Garden normally gets a donation around this time of year from the Sewer Authority. So I would request if anyone is interested in doing a donation again this year to the Conshohocken Community Garden, so that they can continue to run as an independent group.
We skipped last year. I think some of us know, but it was just, nobody put it forth, so I put it forth. Right?
Oh, great.
It's a, I have to, if you want me to go into it, I'll go into it.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, it's an extremely good asset for the community, all right? It's an open space area. We've always had a close arrangement between the Sewer Authority and the Conshohocken Garden. Over 400 square feet is dedicated specifically to growing forward for the Conshohocken Neighborhood Council, along with any extras that people have. You know, they're collected every Sunday night and carried up there on Monday, and from what I've heard, nothing ever goes to waste once it goes to CNC. There's a, wrote the list down, but Conshohocken Elementary and also a local church both have free plots there. And it provides approximately 50 100 square foot plots to 50 families and individuals in the community. So it's a great asset. It's completely self-sustaining. Right? This just helps with ongoing maintenance and the like. So I think it's a good cause, and I'm the person who put it forward. So.
Do you have a donation amount that you would like to offer to the table?
I think historically it's been $1,000, so
Okay.
$1,000.
Okay.
Do they need to make a request, or can we just? Because some of the other donations we do, they put in a request. Do they need to put in a request, or can we just choose?
It's not required. There's several donations that the authority has historically made year over year that don't necessarily require a request. That said, if the board wants to have them reach out and make a request.
Alright.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Hearing no other questions, do I have a motion to approve a $1,000 donation to the Conshohocken Community Garden for the year of 2025?
I'll make the
I'll second.
motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thanks for bringing that forward,
Yeah,
George.
thank you.
Oh, thank you, everyone.
Okay, next item on our agenda this evening is our solicitor's report. So I will,
Make a motion to approve the.
darn it,
financial
I'm all out of
report.
whack today. Do I have a motion to
Financial
approve the financial report into record?
I made a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we'll go to the solicitor's report. Lauren, do you have any updates?
We folks have an opportunity to review our reports. Pretty straightforward this month. We are working with Shannon regarding some very old leads that we're going to get off the books that have been satisfied, and for whatever reason, just the court's paperwork hasn't been caught up, so we're working to clear that out. Other than that, we have no action items this evening, but I am happy to answer any questions if anybody would have.
And these are the same 3 or 4 liens that we've been working on forever?
There's numerous. There's probably about 50 old leads.
Okay.
There's probably closer to 100 of them.
Really?
Yes, and they're from like 1992, 1998, 2000.
These are properties that have probably changed hands multiple times.
Yes.
The leads have been satisfied, but for whatever reason,
Okay.
the paperwork in the court wasn't.
Okay, so it's more of a paperwork filing? Okay.
So that'll be taking place over the next couple of months.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if this is different, but the 5 Caldwell Lane easement, the property owner accepted the payment.
Yes.
Does that mean it's over?
I wish it did, George. We're actually in the process of setting up a call with Insurance Council. The actual condemnation matter, they have 5 years from the date that we filed the condemnation to request a board review and challenge the amount that we paid them. But we did talk to Insurance Council about the ejectment action that they have outstanding, and evidently they are going to submit some sort of demand in that action. I have no idea what that demand would be. We assumed that they would withdraw that action once this was resolved.
Once they accepted the 30s, it was $30-some thousand, right?
I think it was more than that. Was it 29? So, yeah, I'm not really sure what the basis of their claim for additional money from the insurance carrier is, but we're setting up that call with the insurance attorney to talk to them about it.
Is this like their title insurance company?
No, it's the authority's insurance carrier.
Okay.
They had filed an action and ejectment seeking to have us move our
Right.
force main, the very, very large pipe that's in their property. And so obviously we're challenging that. The insurance carrier stepped in to defend the authority, which is great. But that action is still. We have the easement.
Yeah.
It's like what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Again, this pipe has been there for
Right.
100 years, and the property, like, there's all sorts of development issues down there anyway. They were coming from the borough, not from us.
We found a map from 1936 with that pipe on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably not exaggerating on the 100 years. It's been there. It's the authority to me.
Okay.
What's the difference between, like, granting of these, I guess, or does it does it, because we were there longer, therefore the property, explain any of that to me?
Yeah,
could you?
so essentially the argument that we're making is that this main has been there for nearly 100 years, and the fact that we don't have proof of payment from 100 years ago from the prior property owner doesn't mean that they weren't compensated.
Okay.
There's manholes that are making it very clear that there's a main on that property, so that we're arguing that the property owner knew or should have known. However, given these issues, we got the easement. I think we were originally going through and doing a lining project on that part of the main. So we were getting the paperwork cleared up, so now that there is no ifs, ands, or buts, it is clearly an issue.
Thank you.
But we were never going to move our main. That would have been
Right.
just bonkers.
Where would we have moved it to? The road?
Right now,
At the
we're talking
center
about-
of Colwell
It's not
Lane.
an option. Like, I mean, this is our force main. I forget how big the pipe is, but it's.
That's 22 inches thick. And it takes in all of the west side of Fan Street, plus everything we bring in from Plymouth Township. And
It would have been like,
A
there's just no way. I mean,
a
it would-
multi-million-dollar project.
millions of dollars.
And shutting down Colwell Lane for a couple of months.
It would have cost, I can't even imagine what not an option. It would have been easier for us to get down the entire house.
Got it.
We didn't have to go that route.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, hearing no other questions, so I have a motion to accept the solicitor's report into record.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda this evening is the engineer's report.
All right, thanks for having me tonight, guys. Obviously, I'm not Fred when I'm filling in for him. I'll try to keep things quick, as I know he wouldn't. I love Fred. He loves to talk, though. He's a talker, and we're trying
Will
to,
do.
you know.
Make sure that makes it in the minutes.
So I guess the two big items tonight are the projects down at the treatment plant, the influent pump station upgrade and the electrical upgrade. So the latest updates from the influent pump station, Fred, Ed, and one of the operators, and Keystone Engineering Group met down there about a week ago to discuss the next steps and the sequence of construction to keep everything operating. You know, the generator they need for secondary power during the project, it doesn't have to be as large as originally anticipated. There's going to be no heat. It's going to be a summer project, so they can, you know, minimize that. And then as far as the electrical stuff, you know, they met, discussed sequence of construction, how can they keep everything operating while they're doing this. And I guess the big takeaway here is that, you know, project's still on schedule. Looking to update final costs by June meeting, get authorization to bid at the July meeting, and then bid it from August to September. That way we can have construction in July of August to next year. Lead time for the equipment's about 5 to 7 months. You know, so we can be complete by September of 26. With that said, the grant also expires in September of 26, and the financing authority does issue extensions, minor extensions, as long as the project's underway. So everything there is in good shape. I'm trying to think. That's the main stuff on those projects. There's really,
I have a question. Just please making sure whatever once you start looking at, the Trump administration, all these tariffs flying all over the place. You know, is that going to possibly make sure, Fred, as you're writing this up, to protect us from those tariff adjustments? It's going to be very interesting.
Fred,
It's all
yeah.
over the place. I mean, you Europe.
Yeah,
Some of the stuff
yeah,
I'm-
and it's changing, and a lot of companies don't know what's gonna hit them yet, or, some companies put stuff in proactively, and they might not get hit at all. So I think, Fred and Lauren will probably have to work together on language for the contract, but I'm not really sure what Lauren's come across yet on how you can kind of put that off with what's gonna
I'm not
change
saying put
from.
it off, I'm just saying.
No, I know, but to protect
where we
it, so.
purchase our parts from.
Right, but correct, and is it going to be affected? And we might not know until, it's one thing to bid it in September, it's another thing to go and order in December and January and find out stuff changes. So I'm not sure, we'll work with Lauren and make sure there's some sort of language to protect us
Yeah, we'll have to.
best as possible.
Yeah, we'll have to work closely together to make sure that the bid specs are as tight as they can be, but, I mean, it's a consideration that's in every bid package that's going on this trip.
Been an interesting road the last 4 months, so, okay.
I was gonna echo that same thing, is like, when do they have to lock in, if they're bidding it in, when do they have to actually lock their prices in then, the contractors?
If they're bidding it, if we're approving the bid approximately in September of this year, we're awarding it, they'll start shop drawings right away, and we'll start ordering equipment as soon as shop drawings are approved. So the quicker they get turnaround, I would think, stuff will be ordered by November, December of this year.
And they don't give you the full price until after shop?
Well,
drawings?
once it's ordered, once they bid it, that's the price. The price is the price.
Yeah, okay.
They can't really go back and change that. So that will
Yeah.
be the price. However, I think to Brent's point, if tariffs come in a little bit later and, you get something from overseas that's affected by a tariff, well, now what? Because now we ordered this thing 6 months ago. Typically, I think you're kind of in the clear if you order that far ahead of time, but, you never know. So we'll make sure the language is in there to protect the authority as best as possible.
Yeah, like what can you like legally even put in there? Because you'd be like, you have to buy the stuff now, but yeah, then it's gonna sit at someone's property for 6 months while it waits for it to, I don't know, but yeah, whatever you.
Yeah,
whatever
it's tough.
you
It's not easy, That's what we have legal.
Pushback would more, if you have a contract, you have a contract,
Yeah,
all
Correct.
right?
Correct, but make sure that language is in the contract, that they can't come back and ask for a change order on that. Yeah.
Try
I
to
just thought the
close-
language was product and price, and that was it. There's nothing else. There's no economic adjustment or anything. All they can do is not deliver, and then be in breach of contract, so. you know.
Yeah, all of our contracts are gonna have liquidated damages and.
Right, so,
Yep.
don't ship it, now you gotta
Right.
pay us the liquidated damages for that.
Right.
Whatever it is. Doesn't keep people from holding you for ransom,
Right. They'll try,
Yeah.
but. So, I think that's it for the treatment plant projects. Everything's still on pace for, per schedule, so that's good there. Developer projects, 701 Fayette Street, we still have not received a plan set. So nothing we could do there yet. 541 East Hector, we issued a review letter 2 weeks ago on that one, and still waiting for the resubmission. And then on 440 East 9th Avenue, basically they're gonna subdivide the project. There's an existing dwelling, they're gonna demo it, put up 2 units on that. So they're proposing to use the existing lateral for one dwelling, and they'll put a new lateral in for the other one. But currently still working through that plan review. So, that ends my report. Unless there's any questions, I'll gladly do my best to answer.
I might, just one on the electrical upgrade one again. That's awesome that it's gonna be a smaller generator done, that's great, for, we're definitely looking for cost savings, so that's great. And then just a comment in there, this is due to talking about the company evaluate the switchgear, recommending the breakers we replace. This is due to the current conditions and the routine maintenance that have been performed on them. Were we doing the routine maintenance on that? Or any thought from your, okay, so
Every other year.
okay, so we were performing it as required, it's just that even that's not enough to keep it going, essentially. Is that,
It's just a zones plan.
It built in '88.
Okay,
and it's
okay.
just beyond- and a lot of these items, these breakers, you can't even get it anymore. The last 5 years, it's all phased out.
Cool.
Just in that position right now, it's just,
Would it be analogous to having a house with an old electric service and now you're putting in a new if they're up to code.
At least you're not fuses.
So, if you know me, I do believe in-house, and that's not saying I'm not Ed and I actually talked about this as we go forward. You know, the next item, or next purchase, next person we're gonna hire, may be electrician.
Right.
And it's, again, maintaining this equipment, staying up forefront. Right, Ed, you and I just talked about this like a week or so ago, that's what we're looking at. So your thoughts are concurring what we're thinking for the future.
So potentially, we would become self-sustaining in the different fields to be able to run the plant without.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, especially as like up SCADA or anything like that. It's gonna be just more electrical maintenance stuff for you guys to hang up, deal with. And probably easier to cross-chain them into that type of stuff, controls a little bit than regular mechanic, but yeah, that's great.
Yep.
Any other questions for the engineer? Okay, hearing no other questions, do I have a motion to accept the engineer's report into record?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item up is our operation manager's report.
The thing I really have tonight is just a recap of the event we had 2 weeks ago. We hosted the Epicoa quarterly meeting, which went really well. We had 129 attendees and about 60 vendors all visit our plant. Then there was a banquet that followed at Spring Mill Firehouse Ballroom that was catered, and the meeting was actually had there. So it was exciting. It was about 7 months worth of preparation, and it all came together. Luckily, the woman, Mary Kay, the director, she's good at keeping everything moving. So everything went smoothly, a lot of compliments. Our staff did a lot of preparation, which you could see their pride on that day when they were showing the place off. We had guys just voluntarily giving tours and then people stationed in different areas. So it was really, it was fun to do. And it was nice because I've been interacting with a lot of these people that visited over the last 5 years at different events. And we're always talking about our little plant. It was so nice to be able to bring people in and finally show them. And a lot of people had never seen RBCs before. They'd never seen an odor control system before. So they were the two main focuses we had. So I think all in all, it went really well. Actually, we got a plaque here presented for us for hosting the quarterly meeting. So that was nice. And it went off really smoothly. It was a big help having the TK Club. I worked it out with them where they don't open till 3:30, so they allowed our the expo people to put their cars over there. So that worked out really good. So in return, Epico is going to make a donation to them. So it's good for them, and it's good work with our neighbors. So they're really good to us.
That's a big tent.
Yes, I was afraid it wasn't going to fit, but it did. I mean, which really showed how small we're fence to fence to fence to fence. And I've got some emails afterwards from folks that attended. They said they can't believe how we do what we do in such a small area. We're less than 2 acres. So that's just BMG, the way they designed it. So it's amazing.
Congratulations on the success of that.
Thank you.
Well done.
Way to,
And I was able to make it, and yeah, I'd say very, very professional. Like you said, pride in the facility, very clean. The guys were, like you said, happy to walk everyone around, kind of beaming at their own work. It was just, it was awesome to have that, showcase like you said, our plant and the community's effort and your guys' effort too. So yeah, I just want to say that was really good. So.
Thank you.
good planning, good showmanship of the Borough of Conshohocken Authority. So as we get into that phase of turnover and what we're doing, will be a name out in the field that people may want to be interested in coming to. Nice job.
And that concludes my report.
Any questions for Ed? All right, hearing no questions, do I have a motion to accept the operations manager's report into?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And then next up is the executive director's report. Brent?
Again, I want to especially thank Ed for what he did at the plant. If you come down there, the plant was immaculate. And again, first visual is the best visual. That's what you remember. And I've heard from numerous people, and I haven't been at these tours because obviously my plate's very busy with everything. I do it every year. And to hear all the individuals I've been around with, hearing that this is well-attended, even heard Lauren, when you hear the vendors, it sounds odd, but when you hear the vendors happy, that means it's well-attended and people are asking questions. And that's what it was all about. And especially like, every time I turn around, Keith was up there showing our RVC off. And you don't see these. I mean, they're not everywhere. There's very selective few operations. But it shows, I mean, you could walk across the plant in 5 seconds, the width-wise, and the length-wise, a little bit longer. It was well-attended. I even saw prior people that actually were the managers of this facility 25 years ago. And they said that was immaculate compared to what it was. So, again, well done, Ed and staff. This leads in, the plant was in compliance with all the permit parameters. We are still collecting a lot of data for our loading issue. The collection system staff's out, doing a lot of visual inspection of sewer lines. We're jetting lines, looking at evaluation of that, and collecting samples. So I would think over the next 60 days, you're going to see a development of a report to say where we are. And again, we're just in the collection stage at this point, but we are on it and collecting a lot of data. The next item is, a part of our budget this year was to evaluate our biosolids, basically look at where we're going for the next 5 years or 10 years out. So that process of meeting and discussion with Material Matters will be proceeding. And one thing that was discussed at this last meeting, at our meeting in Conshohocken, is the PFAS coming out. So we're going to be in an interesting road. The data is going to start being collected from 50 to 60 facilities across the state in Pennsylvania to develop the regulation behind the PFAS. So I can shoot out theories all over what they're going to find, but the data is going to be start collecting. So anyone that has 50 to 60 wastewater treatment plants across the state will be collecting data in conjunction with a third party that will provide the data to PADP develop the rules and regulations.
Do they provide oversight too?
There'll be oversight, and it's all volunteer. Obviously, we're not in that parameters yet. It's only the ones that are land applying, because that's obviously the biggest concern. It's going landfill. It's not saying it's not going to be an issue at landfill, but we're in the infancy stage of where we're headed with these regulations. If you look at the water end real quick, I mean, you're looking parts per quadrillion that we're looking at the water end on. I couldn't tell you. I'd sit here, I couldn't tell you. I don't know if you could. We have no idea. So probably in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to have PFAS regulations in our permit. I know our permit's going to tell us that we're going to have to test for it the next round, which I've been told. So our next permit will tell us that you're going to have to test for PFAS.
Just in the solids, though, not in the liquid.
Yeah.
Right?
Probably the effluent too. To me, effluent and solids.
Let's see, why not? I don't know.
Well, we're like mostly municipal, so we'd hope that, we're hoping to not have a lot of PFAS, but it's like, and it's in everything, so.
It's in everything. It's on you right now. I mean, it's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Is the permit
So when you continue, it's-
re-upping every year, or is it multiple
every
years?
5 years.
5 years. And where are we in the cycle?
It expires, I believe, July of 2027.
So we don't necessarily need to think about it for budget for '26, but we will need to think about it for budget. And then speaking of budget, we're starting to collect what we need to start having those discussions for the late summer.
Yes, that is correct. We're in infancy. We're gathering information as we speak.
Just in general, to start taking a look at what our, what's going to be the status of our expenses, and then to try and figure out,
That's got to be tough to do, because there's no regulations yet. There's no standards yet. We don't know what we're going, and I say we, I mean the entire state of Pennsylvania.
Right.
We don't know what we're going to come up with, And what does the DEP do? Backward engineer into it based upon what people are, I mean, it's, yeah.
It's currently, what you're saying is correct, the way it's being developed. But again, it's just,
Everybody has 50 parts per million, and so that's a standard. You can't be above that. It just doesn't, so it doesn't seem to be, it should be binary, 0 or, you know, you either have it or you don't. And
well, we're finding even now that with all the studying going on, we're getting through the rainwater
Right.
now.
Well,
It's just everywhere. So
it's like PCB.
same
PCBs
issue we had
50
years ago with PCBs. You
Right.
get most of it through the.
Right, you're looking up at the electrical things, yeah.
And when you collect this, what's interesting, when you collect when we eventually collected it, which will probably, it's easy enough just to hire a third party to do it because you can't take a shower the day before. You have to be in Tyvek suit because you can contaminate the
Right,
sample
yeah.
just from yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's special training just to collect that sample. And again, I know the one thing is, my one lab, you ready, you can't take a shower for 24 hours.
Wow.
Before you take your sample.
You can't take a shower.
You're not allowed to take a shower because you'd be getting your shampoo.
You're getting
could
it out
be-
of
It could
the
be on your
water.
hair conditioner.
I mean, I think
We gotta live at
won't
the
be-
plant for 24 hours.
It's like, we're not gonna be like uniquely, nothing about our catchment base, our sewer shed makes us think that we'd be, we wouldn't expect to be uniquely high in it. So if they roll out
As far as we
stuff
know.
across the board, yeah, unless,
Sound like
then we gotta look at source control even more, but yeah, I don't think they're gonna have to be putting money into all of these plants if they're gonna do
Yeah,
it, right? It's like, we're not
I
gonna
would
be.
think that there's less in the sewer system than there is in the groundwater. Because I worked at places in the 90s where people dumped stuff on the ground, all right, which I know they were carcinogenic chemicals, right? I didn't do it, I just know that they did.
So you say.
So I said. And so it got dumped into the groundwater, it didn't get dumped in the sewer system, because the sewer system people, well,
Yeah.
so I would think that from the industries that were here in years gone by, probably just dumped it out the door, you know? So, not into the sewer systems.
But I think it's gonna come up as a solids issue probably for us before it'll come up in the mainstream. But, I don't know, stuff's probably still, I don't know, 5-6 years out minimum, you know, like,
Yeah, so your next permit, it'll probably be a monitor.
right, and then,
That's a 5-year permit, so I mean, you still have about a year and a half on that permit, so.
We look at
7
almost
years out.
7 to 10 years out before the development. But
biosolids, if we get further along in processing, the receiving people might want us to test for it, but.
Push forward.
I did talk to Fred the other day, though, and he did see his first on a renewal MPDS permit, where they are requiring monitoring now.
yeah, him and I had a conversation about that last week. He called me up on asking my opinion on that permit. So,
Interesting.
yeah, it's interesting. So I just want to let you know that's where it is, and we got an update. And other than that, that completes my report.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Brent?
On that the COD monitoring stuff, yeah, I guess you're saying 60 days, you might see a report. When do you think do you have a date in your mind that it starts becoming a problem for the plant, you know?
Our plant's handling right now, so it's really not a concern. Obviously, what Fred's concerned about is we go in our Chapter 94 and we're overloaded.
Yeah.
That's our concern. And
They would dictate that we have to do an upgrade, essentially. Is that what
they could do that, or there'd be a plan developed exactly what we're doing right now. We're trying to figure out what's going on. And I know Ed was saying with the staff, we're seeing some unique items out in the collection system that, because we're fingerprinting everything right now as best as we can. And we bought that COD analyzer to help us get a trend going on what's transpiring quicker instead of waiting 5 days.
Yep.
What would be considered a unique item?
Well, we're seeing obviously a lot of, our theory, it's just a theory, is with all the restaurants, and there's a lot of grease in our lines. And, grease can be a very high organic loading, and we pick up a particle too, which could offset our analysis. So that's why I'm just throwing out, we have no idea yet. And we're not seeing our sludge generation as high. So again, I'm just throwing theories out.
Well, and you were saying they used to have somebody who inspected these
Well, that's what I was
facilities
gonna
and they
say,
don't
so
do it
way
anymore?
back, not even way back, prior to COVID, they had these grease traps always inspected, that, like, it was from the county at the state level. And my parents own, or my brother owns a pizza shop, and they haven't been out to inspect his grease trap in years.
And we had a meeting, if I mentioned last month, with the borough, so we are in an infancy stage where we're gonna take this fat soil and grease program.
Okay,
It's
cool.
open discussion, how we're gonna implement a strategy to do this, so that's one of,
Does this have anything to do, and maybe it does, and I just don't remember, with the organic load that we saw the increase on?
Yeah, that's what-
That's what
yeah,
you're
yeah.
talking about.
yes.
We're saying it might, he doesn't know, but it
We
might.
had no idea.
But we're still elevated.
Yes.
We're not continuing up.
No, it's flat, plateauing up,
Right.
and our effluent's doing very, obviously, our concern's effluent, we're in compliance, I mean, that's the most important part at this point.
We dump in the river.
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay.
But one more annoying question, you don't have to give me an answer right now, just I know you guys have been talking about the other sewer collection system and how it's got some liability associated with it, potentially.
West Conshohocken.
Yeah, Wisconsin, yeah, sorry, yeah. I guess at some point I'd be curious to, maybe see your top 3 worst items over there or something like that and see if that's something, I don't know, is there anything we should be, or are there things that we're working on right now to reduce that risk to us in some way, or already, or just trying to figure out if we have problems over there, are we doing anything on them right now? Or
I think the only problem that we have is we inherited a pump station that is needed help, which is we're gonna be addressing that through our capital plan. It's not a dire need right now, but we know that pump station needs, just like our influent pump station needs help. And ironically, the West Conshohocken pump station, if you walk in that one, you walk in ours, they're the same pump station, even though they're 2 different collection systems. The engineer that did it was BCM back in the 80s that did those pump stations.
So it's going to possibly need the same type of upgrade as we're getting now.
But I'm thinking that upgrade can be more internally, like we get the right pumps and put them in there. Because right now, I mean, and Ed, you can jump in here, they've been mothballed for how they've been just different pumps, different flow rates and everything else.
Yeah,
3 pumps, 3 different manufacturers.
Yeah.
nice. And I know that you're saying at one point access to some of the collection systems is also a problem over there, but,
So it's the one area over that, yes, is area.
yeah.
Is GSK on the,
No.
no? They're in King of Prussia or Upper Meridian?
They go to the Bridgeport plant, I believe.
Okay.
I think it's part of Upper Meridian. Yeah, we stop right at the Pico, right before Pico, right about Domingo Road. Anything past there goes the other way.
That firefighting training area will probably have a crap load of PFAS in it.
Well, good, they go the other way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That all goes on, well, it doesn't all go on the ground, but a lot of it goes on the ground.
Yeah.
That was like, yeah. Awesome. Thanks, appreciate it.
Okay, yep. That completes my report.
All right, any other questions? All right, hearing no other questions, do I have a motion to accept the executive director's report?
Like the motion?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. To all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Is there any old business that anybody would like to discuss? Going once, going twice, hearing nothing. I will adjourn our meeting for this evening. Thank you, everyone. And then I need a motion to make that bang happen.
Motion to end the meeting.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.